Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome to Come to Your Senses. Welcome to today's episode, where I am inviting you to join me in creating something beautiful. So, since I first sat down at the kitchen table 4 years ago, during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, and thought, if there's ever a time to create a podcast, this is it. And over the last several years, we have broadcast over 150 episodes. We have listeners in 123 countries and counting. It has been amazing to sit with you each week. And I am yearning, and you are asking for a way that we can connect more deeply and where I can serve you and support you on a more intimate, more rich level. And so while there are many rich ways to connect with me in my one-on-one coaching and in my smaller group containers, I am ready to open up the garden gates to a new kind of experience where you get to take what you hear about each week on the podcast and not just hear about it, but actually have a guided experience of it. And where the essence that you feel when you listen isn't just something that you visit each week, but it's something that you get to live and breathe and taste and touch each and every single day. And so what I'm trying to say here, my loves, is that I'm ready to start a membership. Oh God, don't say it. I was talking to my business coach today about how much I loathe the word membership. It just doesn't really have the charm or the razzmatazz that my tongue requires when describing the kind of experience I want to deliver. But in the vernacular of my industry, that's really kind of what I'm talking about. And I've resisted forming a membership because personally, I find online memberships to often be overwhelming, kind of a fire hose of content, and I'm not really sure where to begin. There's maybe thousands of members, so I feel like I get lost in a big sea. And I want to create something different for us. And I have lots of ideas. I am really an ideas factory. I sometimes feel like my creativity is just a windsock whipping around on the top of a mountain, but that's definitely not the problem. I'm flooded with ideas for how we can gather and the ways we can gather. Where I need your help is I want to touch in with your appetite on what would serve you the best. And so in a moment, I'm going to give you a little taste of what I'm imagining. But first, I want you to know that below this episode is a link to a questionnaire of how we can create together the most sumptuous, yummy, warm, inviting gathering experience possible. And so this survey, I have spent many hours crafting and going full Virgo on the questions that I ask you. It is fun and interactive and exciting and, dare I say, a little funny. And so if you go to schoolofsensualliving.com/survey, again, there will be a link below this episode, you can be a part of creating this sanctuary space that we are creating together. And I use that word sanctuary. That word really appeals to me because the essence of my work is about lowering the noise outside and coming home to ourselves through this sanctuary of the body. And there are so many different sanctuaries in our lives. There's the sanctuary of our mind, which can feel a little bit not like a sanctuary sometimes, but ultimately is a sanctuary for our thoughts. The sanctuary of our home, the sanctuary of our friendships, our sensuality, the sanctuary of beauty, and where all of these different pathways lead to this place inside your inner landscape where no matter how much your mind is racing or arguing or says, I don't know, when we delve deeper than those upper layers of the self, there is this sanctum, this sanctuary inside, that little bit that knows, where our deepest intuitions and our deepest yearnings and our deepest expression of our soul reside. It's where we find what I call our honeyed wholeness, that warm, sparkling, nourishing beauty where we can be fully human and fully divine at the same time. You know, one of the most powerful responses I've ever gotten on a survey, I'm going to read to you now. And it was in response to the question, what do you get from listening to this podcast? And this person shared, I care about justice, but also fashion. I care about human rights, but also about bubble baths and stationery and delicious food and music and art and laying in the grass and staring at the clouds. Mary helps me bring those things together, aspects of a full life that are usually framed as disparate and disjointed. I feel more my whole self when I hear Mary's voice. She gives language to feelings I didn't know how to articulate. She incorporates difficult topics like grief, which distinguishes her from the superficial crowd, crowing to just be grateful. Oh, God. Let's just drink that in like a frothy glass of champagne or sparkling water, if you please. Yes, where we don't have to separate our love of glamour from the process of experiencing grief, and where seduction and social justice can be used in the same sentence, and where we find the force some call God kneeling at an altar, as well as sitting in the makeup chair at Sephora, being tended to by some fabulous makeup artist who's applying the perfect shade of plum to our lips. This is a campfire I am ready to light for those who feel called to gather around, myself included. And so in the survey is another one like membership that I'm like, oh, can we call it something else? I wasn't able to come up with a cheeky name for survey yet, but stay tuned. In the survey, there are questions like the one that I just shared with you that prompted that beautiful response. There are questions about what kinds of shit you actually use out there in the internet world. Because if you're like me, you probably have a lot of classes that you've bought and audios that you've purchased that have never seen the light of day. And so there's some of these more practical details. But most of all, what I want to hear is how can I help you and how can I serve you in living more deeply from that inner sanctum, that inner sanctuary, and to create your life as a sanctuary for your soul, and to make this world more of a sanctuary for the full human heart. So, schoolofsensualliving.com/survey, or just click the link below this episode. I am excited to continue sharing this creative process and not pretend to be the little man behind the Wizard of Oz, making it all happen flawlessly, and really take you inside my creative process on this so that we can build and create it together. And as always, thank you so, so much for being a part of the tapestry that we weave together here each week. And I will see you in our next episode.